Okay, welcome to this real quick tutorial on using our academic intervention tracker in Google Docs. So the first thing you have to do is go out to Google. So jump over to Google, and then right over here where it says sign in, you can just go ahead and click on that. And then you put in our username, Quaker data, and then the password, which I'm not going to say. It's in the email. So you go ahead and sign in. And then you're signed in, and then you have to click on the little more icon, and then you want to go to Google Docs or Documents. And then all of our documents will pop up that have been shared in here so far. And a couple other things that might be interesting. There's the student schedules. So that's just a giant spreadsheet with every student's name and then what their classes are. The suspension list is from a while ago, from last year. I don't think that's active right now. And there's a few other things, but this is the one that you want to go to, Academic Intervention Tracker. So you just click into that. It'll open up. And right now I blacked out everybody's name just so, for this video you won't see the names, but normally they'll all be there. And you can see some people have already started putting in students' data. So that loads up, and depending on how fast your internet connection is, how fast your computer is, it may take a minute to load or a little bit less, or not a minute, but whatever. So once it loads up, the most important thing is you want to do is you don't want to have to scroll through the spreadsheet, because it will really take a long time to do that. So you want to use the Control F, and Control F works in lots of programs, but that just comes up with a find. So then you want to put in the student's last name or first name if it's pretty unique or whatever. And for this case, I'm going to match the cell for my good friend Jane Doe. So there I found her. Get out of this. So that will jump you right to your student, so that way you don't have to sit there and scroll. So pop it up, and let's say I'm Jane's second hour teacher. So the idea here is if I'm going to give her an academic intervention, just sitting down, I'm going to talk to her for 30 seconds or a minute. Jane, you're not doing so well. You have a D, or you're failing right now. Let's do this. If I give her one of these, I just want to come to this spreadsheet and mark a 1 there in the academic intervention. And if it's based on attendance largely, if that's a huge issue with her, I'm also going to put a 1 under attendance. And if it's not really, if it's just she's just not working or whatever, she's failing, then you can leave that one blank either way. So I'll leave that one blank for this hour. And then here I'm going to put the date. And the purpose of the date is just so we could sort it, or whoever is going to look at this. And ideally we'll have our principals, our behavior specialists, and maybe our counselors that have time. We can go in here and then they can do a sort by date. Or they can find their students and they can see, when was this intervention last given, get an update, hey, ask the student how's it going. And also just a reminder as teachers, if I want to go back in and revisit and talk to Jane in a couple weeks, I can say, hey Jane, remember I gave you this on such and such a date. And then any notes like poor work ethic, or maybe, that's just kind of a note. That's really like note more to myself and to other teachers who see this. Or maybe if maybe I want to write down what it is that we agreed to. Maybe Jane agreed to she's going to make up all missing work in the next week. Whatever. So I would just type that all in. And then what will happen is it's being added up. Each student's being subtotaled, so that way you can find students who are really starting to have trouble because they're having 2 or 3 or 4 academic interventions, and it's also adding up at the bottom for the whole school, so we can get a feel for who's really having trouble. And you can see, like right now, when you get down here, I think we were down into like 40 or so academic interventions, and about 20 attendance ones have been given so far. So that'd be a perfect opportunity, especially once we get our second behavior specialist, for them to look at this file and then really start to target some of these kids who are showing up here. And it was asked well, this is the purpose of the spreadsheet to become some long-term fixture. It's just like another data system. Why isn't this being fully integrated into one data system? And that's certainly our intent. The goal is to basically start to use this, start to basically empower ourselves to say, hey, this is a way that we can know right now. We don't have to wait for 9 weeks when we enter in our report card data into SIMS. That's like the first time that we have a central data collection of everyone's grades. So it's like 9 weeks in, it's kind of late. So if we started doing that at least with the kids who are in trouble a lot earlier, there's an opportunity for our support staff to start getting involved quicker on their own without having, for someone to refer them to the staff. And we'd like to show this to the people in the district who make the decisions about technology and say, this is a problem with GradeQuick. With GradeQuick, there's really no central database that we can go into and easily sort and find out where kids are at any given point. And we can't do that, and that's going to be a problem with our advisory class. If part of the goal of advisory is for teachers to be able to quickly and easily access the students' data and to find out where they are, we're not going to want to rely on GradeQuick. So the goal is to kind of show the district, hey, we're taking initiatives, we're taking first steps. This is the kind of a tool that we need, and we would like this to obviously be built into our grade system, whatever it is that we go with. And we're actually meeting with technology pretty soon, later this week, to start looking at rebidding that out. So at this point, we want to try this, kind of work the kinks out, see how it goes, and then hopefully by next year we'd be able to have something that's a little more powerful and easier to use. But this is pretty simple to use, I think, and we'll see how it goes. So I think that's about it. Hopefully you don't have any questions. It's just a 1 for every academic intervention you gave, and an additional 1 if it's based on attendance, any notes you have, and just make sure you put it in the right hour. And that's about it. And then it automatically saves itself when you close it. I guess the last thing I would do is if you don't already have a Google account, you could create one, and then once you log in as Quaker Data, you could share this document to yourself, so that way in the future you won't have to log in. You can see that there's already 5 collaborators, so people are sharing it. So you could just click on it and then say share, and share settings, and then you could add yourself. You just put your own Google account in there, and that way when you log in under your own username, like Matt Jason has, Emily D, it'll automatically be there, and then you don't have to log in as Quaker Data in the future.